the bald assassin. He is one of the most recognizable video game characters, the Hitman, or his real name Agent 47. 47 has been a staple part of video games for well over 15 years now, and while there isn't that many Hitman games, there is quite a few games, and I wanted to take this time to look at all of them, or at least most of them. The first game, titled Hitman Codename 47, came out in the year 2000 exclusively on PC. The game was met with mostly negative reception when it came out and is very mixed, especially among Hitman fans. I, for one, can't even get the damn game to work on the computer. But when I played it many years ago on my old laptop, I hated this game. It was really just confusing more than anything else, but I will say the soundtrack in this game is excellent. The music in the original Hitman is great. With that said, I'm not going to be looking at this game in more depth at all. That's all I'm looking at for the original Hitman game. I mean, I can't even play through it, so. That brings us to Hitman 2, released a few years later. Now, Hitman 2, first of all, works on PC and was released on consoles at the same time. Secondly, the game fixed and improved pretty much everything from the original game. You play the game as 47, a clone, and he is the perfect assassin. After killing the man who created him in the first game, 47 resides in a church, where he is just trying to find peace. Peace does not want to find him, though, as his only friend, a priest, gets kidnapped to lure 47 out of hiding. 47 then contacts the agency to help find the priest, and returns to what he does doing best, being a hitman. So Hitman 2 is a third-person stealth shooter. The game, when it comes to stealth, was a very rude awakening to me. As someone who mostly plays modern games, this game was a total wake-up call. The stealth in this game is as difficult as it gets. One huge complaint with the original game was the difficulty, and this game is not that hard compared to the first game, but it's the point to where I would say it's classically styled in terms of difficulty. Limited saves, getting detected fucks you over the whole level, and dead bodies being hidden. This game is very serious when it comes to stealth. 47 has many tools and weapons at his disposal. He has items such as coins to lure enemies around from the sound, the fiber wire that he uses to kill, and of course the classic pistols. These are some of your most important tools, and you'll be using the silenced baller a lot. The big thing 47 uses is disguises. You see, after you knock someone out or kill them, you can take their clothes and you can basically guise as that person, and you pose as that person in the position that they are. However, just because you are posing as a certain type of person does not mean you have access everywhere. Like a waiter at a party wouldn't have access to where the money is being kept in the building, etc. With this game, it comes to what you're doing most of the game, is disguising and trying to find your way around and then assassinate. Most of the missions are structured as such. There's a target or multiple targets, and they need to be taken out as well as discreetly as possible. So, as 47, you're tasked with finding a way to eliminate them without causing much of a stir, if not any stir at all. Knocking people out, hiding their bodies, poisoning the target's drinks, really are the sneakiest ways to kill people. Stealth is the name of the game here, and I will say that some of the levels are pretty excellent here for that. The game is a good amount of locations all over the world, ranging from Russia and Japan to India. This is where you also have to forget the fact that 47 is white and would never even fit in with these people to begin with.
Yummy! Yummy!
Now, if shit hits the fan and you are detected, 47 is no pushover also. First of all, there is no way to get your health back in this game. After you lose it, zero, nada. So if you're low and save, you're low till the mission's over. However, 47 doesn't have to just bring his silver ballers with him. These are just the easiest ones to conceal, and they're all around good. Now, 47 can bring rifles, revolvers, even crossbows. Really any weapon you can think of 47 can bring with him. You actually can go around just running and gunning everyone down. On the normal difficulty, it is totally doable. On the harder difficulty though, 47 will die from 1 or 2 bullets. But if you do run in guns blazing, be prepared to shoot a lot, and I mean a lot of people, because they will all shoot at you. It is highly preferable to be stealthy, and there are a few missions that actually require 47 to not get spotted. If you haven't noticed, this game is in third person, but it can be switched to first person. It really doesn't matter though. The game really is no difference in the viewpoints, except third person you obviously have more of a view. The main standpoint for Hitman 2 and really Hitman games in general is that you are dropped into these usually massive areas with a target to kill. You are given really no help except info on who to kill. Sometimes not even that or their location. Your job is to just find a stealthy way to kill them. It requires a lot of patience, exploration, trial and error, and time. Or simply a walkthrough like I did for a bunch of these levels. Some of these levels, like this India one, are massive, and it could take the normal player an hour for some of these levels on their first time playthrough. And while that is awesome and really unique, I just didn't really have the patience, to be honest, for some of these missions. No, I didn't look up every single mission, and yes, I did run and gun a couple times for a few missions, but I was stealthy for a couple of them, and I figured out a few on my own. Once a mission is completed, you get a ranking, with Mass Murder being the worst for stealth and Silent Assassin being the best. Speaking of missions, this game has a shitload of missions. There is like 20 missions in this game, and while every level you don't take someone out, there's a lot of missions, like I said, on a first time playthrough, like the Indian City, that will take you like an hour. With that said, this game is not short unless you have a walkthrough. And it's got to be open right there with you. And you got to be following it like 24/7 because there's a lot of other factors that can come into these levels that the walkthrough might not have. And I would guess with that, it would take the normal player like 8 to 17 hours to finish on their first time. And while that's a huge gap, with all these factors involved, that's my guess. It's easily the longest Hitman game in the entire series, actually. But I would not say this is the best Hitman game for a few reasons. First of all, the detection in this game is sometimes just stupid or downright glitchy. There is a detection meter under 47's health, and while it seems fair enough, sometimes you won't even get a warning. 47 will just be detected instantly, and it's downright glitchy in some areas. I guess it's just part of being an earlier stealth game. Next is that there are just some missions in this game that are just total crap. While you can't expect every mission to be great when there's like 20, there's just a handful of these missions that are just not very well designed at all. Really, any snow level in Japan can attest to this, and they're all pretty much crap. One of them in particular has this truck that is so glitchy as hell to not show up or whatever, and the others just aren't fun. The missions where you don't have to kill someone in this game are generally really bad ones, and if it's really like every level where you don't kill somebody, or it's just bad, or rescue somebody. Sometimes the enemy can also just end you like immediately. Goodbye health in one shot, and I don't even get it. Another thing is the controls. While they aren't terrible, they do take a long time to get used to, though I will say they are a lot better on the mouse and keyboard rather than a controller. Not everything is bad in this game though, and not every mission is terrible. Some are actually really great, like any level in India is pretty great, and the first mission in the game actually sets up the game really good. Speaking of great, was the presentation when this game came out. It looked pretty damn good with excellent crisp models, decent textures, and an excellent frame rate. This game also runs fine on modern computers, no problem there. The sound in this game is pretty good. The voice acting in this game is good, as it comes. There's really nothing from 47, but what's fine there from Diana, and really, that's the person who gives you the missions, and a couple of the other characters, it's pretty alright, but what stands out is the enemies and targets, who have great voice acting in multiple languages. The music was made by the guy who made the first game's music, and while I do think the first game is better music, it's pretty good overall. It's really mostly atmospheric, and it sets the mood, and it's just good. When it comes to presentation, there's nothing wrong here. Something that some people do have a problem with, though, is the plot. And really, it's just kind of there. Like, for instance, 47 never actually finds the priest that he goes looking for. They actually go back into the church for some reason at the end of the game. Like, what the hell? There's barely no plot at all. Other than that, though, really, and the other annoyances that I have with this game is actually a pretty great game. While it was pretty hard to actually get into it first, I really got into it about halfway through and had a bit of fun here and there. The stealth was really good and pretty classic, and I think this game holds up pretty decently. It definitely shows its age, and I will say that the average gamer probably won't like it all that much. It requires a lot of patience and understanding, a lot more than the other Hitman games do. I do not recommend this game at all to be your first Hitman game, and I don't recommend Codename 47 either. I don't recommend you play that one at all. Overall though, I think it's a pretty great game, and Eidos Interactive knew what they were doing because a year or so later they followed up with Hitman Contracts. Hitman Hitman Contracts retains most, if not all, the gameplay aspects from the last game. The story is that 47 is out on a mission or something and he gets sniped, but he doesn't get killed. He's just shot. He's helped by a doctor from the agency in a hotel, but as he is recovering, he has a flashback. Basically, his life flashes before his eyes to a ton of his missions. So yes, this game is a flashback game, except for the last mission. The gameplay remains the same, where you're thrown into these generally massive areas with a target or two, and you have to eliminate them as stealthily as possible. There are not as many missions in this game as the previous game. Also, like 4 of the missions from the original Hitman game, Codename 47, including the first mission, are actually in this game. So almost half of the original game has been remade in this game. These missions actually perfectly blend in with the rest of the game, and if you haven't played the original, you wouldn't even know which ones are for the original, to be honest. And you wouldn't even notice they're reused. They aren't copy and paste either. Some things have been changed, like item placement, etc. The new levels in this game, I will say though, are pretty great on every level. I don't think there's even a single mission I hated in this game. There's one level in a hotel that I found a bit annoying, but nothing on Hitman 2 levels. You see, there is no mission where you don't actually kill someone, except the first mission, but that's the first mission, and that's the end of the first Hitman game. These levels are really just well designed and bring the best out of Eidos. The way you kill some of these people gets really creative, and if you're playing stealthy and quietly, you gotta get creative for some of these kills. Or you could just run in and kill everyone, which is what I did for a few levels. Either way it works, really. You'll get results. The stealthy way, though, is a lot more time consuming, obviously. The game was not as long as Hitman 2, but I will say it was definitely a lot better designed. And I think it's a better game because of the slightly shorter length, as weird as that sounds. I'd say it's anywhere from a 5 to 11 hour game, depending on if you have a walkthrough with you. The presentation, though, I will say it looks almost identical to Hitman 2. It looks slightly better. The texture and lighting is a bit better, and that's it. The models, I wouldn't be surprised if they're reused. But this game still looked okay. Not great, but it looked okay for when it came out. The game also works flawlessly on modern computers, supporting all resolutions. And like the last game, I really recommend the PC version because of the controls. The sound in this game is equally as good. The voice acting is great again, and the music, I will say, is slightly better than Hitman 2's music, and it's on the original Hitman's level. It's pretty great. Really, Hitman Contracts is actually pretty great, and I think it might be one of the maybe the most underrated Hitman game in the series. When it comes to something though that's not great, it's the story again. The story in this game is so confusing without looking it up. Like, I had no idea what the hell was going on. I understood what was going on in the mission, but not the general plot. It was all over the place, and I didn't understand even any of it except the ending. Really, the story is so disjointed and all over the place that most people wouldn't really care for the story. And something that people might not care for the game is really it doesn't change a lot or improve really anything. This game doesn't feel like a sequel to Hitman, but rather like an expansion to Hitman 2, which I can say that's fair. But in that case, then I think this game is one hell of an expansion. I think it's a great game regardless, and I recommend it a lot more than Hitman 2. It is a lot more accessible also. Modern gamers could get into this game easier. Maybe that's just me because I was able to beat Hitman 2. Either way, this game is a bit better. So with 2 good games under their belt, they were going to go like all out for the next Hitman game, and that game was Blood Money. Hitman Blood Money was released in 2006 for the 360 and PC, and there was a shittier version released on the PS2 and OG Xbox, but I'll be reviewing the PC version again. Blood Money is often cited as the best Hitman game and is really loved among fans. The story is that 47 gets a hit on an American park owner, and once 47 takes him out, an American client actually is eager to hire him and has 47 do a bunch of jobs in America. Most of the game is flashbacks as a reporter interviews a CIA director about 47's last hits until they allegedly got 47. Unlike the last couple games, there's actually a story here and it doesn't totally disappear like the other games. And there's cutscenes, and really even the last mission has a real ending that you can understand, and there's actually plot elements in this game. The story can be a little bit confusing, but it's not stupid in any way and is actually pretty moderately decent. It's not great, but it's certainly a large step forward from the last 3 Hitman games. Hitman Blood Money plays mostly like the last 2 Hitman games, with 47 dropped into a usually large environment tasked with assassinating 1 or 2 targets, sometimes more. 47 can literally use any method to eliminate the targets. He can be a stealthy ass dude, and he can never even be known that he was there, or he can go around killing everyone in sight. Blood Money actually has a new system where the more people besides the target are killed, and times 47 is spotted, his detection rating goes up. It goes up to 100, and that's the highest. And the higher it gets, the more secure it is in these levels, and the easier it is for 47 to be detected. Unless you spend money to have the detection rate go down. Or if you're stealthy, it won't go up at all. If you're totally stealthy, it might go down it might go up a bit if you kill a couple other people though. Blood Money also is 47. Be a lot more agile. He's able to scale buildings, he's able to parkour, take people as human shields, which I never did once besides the tutorial. Whenever you finish a mission, 47 is paid with this money, and you can use it to upgrade weapons, wipe notoriety, my bad, and, you know, just simple stuff like that. However, 47, he can get docked stuff like not getting the suit back, killing people. You get docked money because it's fees for the agency, so less money. However, 47 gets so much money from these missions that wiping notoriety costs like nothing at all, and I was still able to upgrade everything that I wanted to upgrade in this game. Being stealthy was a lot more fun though. The controls have really been reworked in this game to where you hold a button down and you're able to view all of your items at once and select them from there, making it much easier for controller players. And then there are the targets and levels themselves. The main reason Blood Money is considered the best Hitman game of them all is because the level design and targets are the most unique and excellent in the entire series. The levels in this game are pretty excellent for the most part. There is only 12 missions and a tutorial mission, but these are some of the best stealth missions ever created in a video game. I will say there is a mission in this game I particularly do not like, but besides that one mission, I will say they are all fantastic for the most part. Every target has a way of making their death look like an accident, like replacing a prop gun with a real gun, someone falling into the water and drowning. It's pretty awesome. The levels themselves are so open with so many ways to kill a target. Every target is like 3 ways they can be killed, and they're all totally different. And with the exception of like 1 or 2 levels, I didn't even have to use a walkthrough for this game. It's actually pretty friendly to the modern gamer like me, and I had a blast with the game. Or it might be that this is my 3rd Hitman game and I'm just used to this shit. Sure, a couple levels I went in and destroyed everyone, but missions like the Heaven or Hell Party in Vegas that I did stealthy were beyond excellent, like just beyond stellar. The levels in this game really steal the show of why this game is just so beloved. The mechanics are easily the most user-friendly of the original Hitman games, but I think it really helps out and makes the game a lot more not only accessible but more enjoyable. You're no longer scrolling through tiny menus trying to find weapons, not being able to reach places 47 could totally reach. The wonky detection system with its glitches are gone. This game is as good as it comes. The presentation for 2006, it was also pretty good, with some pretty good textures, some good models. The frame rate was superb, and the game runs flawlessly on modern computers. The music was composed by the same guy as the last 3 games, and while it's not Hitman Contracts level, it's still pretty good. It's like Hitman 2 level. And the Vegas theme, it's pretty awesome in this game. The voice acting is actually a lot more present and is very good for everyone. Not only the people in other languages are good, because there are no people in other languages since it's all in America, but it's actually really good, even 47. The sound effects are pretty good also, with people dying, good sounding guns, and really it was good. Really, Blood Money, I have to say, when it comes to Hitman games, it may be the best, though I will say it is the shortest. I finished it in like 8 hours, and yeah, it's like 8 hours, but it is easily the most replayable Hitman game by far. So it's kind of a counterbalance, if that makes any sense. And the one mission that I don't like in this game is the Mississippi mission. I just hate this mission. But besides that, I think Blood Money is easily one of the best stealth games ever made. There's a really good reason why people say it's the best Hitman game, because the missions are just that good. After this, it would actually be many, many years for the next Hitman game. The franchise went pretty dormant for the next couple of years, and it wouldn't be until late 2012 to when the next Hitman game came out, and that would actually be Absolution. Hitman Absolution was released to high praise but heavy criticism, and I'll be taking a look at it. I played it back when it came out and thought it was awesome. Hitman Absolution takes place a while after the last few games. Diana, the person who has helped 47 the last couple games and provided him with everything from the agency, turns on them for no reason. She releases documents about the agency and betrays the agency. 47 is tasked by his new handler, Travis, to kill her. Well, 47 goes and shoots her. Instead of finishing her off, he asks why, and she says she betrayed them because of a girl named Victoria, who was genetically made to be a super assassin like 47, and she didn't want that, so she betrayed them and left. She asks 47 to do the same and not let the agency get her. He agrees and leaves Diana. The game revolves around 47 saving Victoria and preventing all the evil people from getting her, basically, without spoiling it. The story in this game is much more focused and is actually huge to the game. The story is very present here with tons, and I mean tons of characters, and they all have personalities. The story is actually really great here and is the best Hitman story easily. There's a real central plot that has been worked around the Hitman formula pretty excellently. The twists are great, and really just the story just shits on the other Hitman stories so much, even Blood Money. Hitman Absolution in terms of gameplay though, it changes a lot of things, and I mean a lot of things from Blood Money. First off is the game is a total third-person game now. You can zoom in and out and go over the shoulder like a third-person shooter, but there's no first-person mode anymore. 47 can now take cover and move around it also. The detection system has been completely changed. Now there is a circle thing that spikes, similar to Far Cry 3, only I would say it works better here. 47 now has Instinct. Instinct allows him to blend into his environment. If you're disguised as a janitor and pass by another janitor, that janitor is going to notice that you're not a real janitor. But if you use Instinct, you won't get detected at all. To get Instinct, you have to take people out and hide their bodies. Instinct mode lets you see where all the enemies are and their paths on the ground. It's actually a really great concept for a Hitman game, and while some could argue it makes the game a lot more casual, I can really disagree, and I can say it enhances everything. But if you really don't like it, you can actually turn this entire system off. One thing that people don't like in this game, though, is the whole detection system. Without Instinct, if you're a janitor and another janitor passes by you, you're gonna get noticed. But if you're a janitor and pass by, say, a scientist, that scientist is not gonna know that you're not a real janitor. But if you're a scientist and you pass by the scientist, that scientist is gonna know you're not a real scientist. Like, that's kind of BS. I mean, not every person knows every other person by heart in their department. It's just kind of not that great. And they don't know everyone by heart. In the old Hitman games, it was if you did something similar, or it was kind of if you did something stupid like ran, or you got too close to someone, they'd be able to straight up detect you. But if you're using Instinct in this game, you're completely undetectable. Now 47 is on the run from the agency in this game, so he does not have his gear. Hell, for like a quarter of the game, he doesn't even have his silver ballers. 47 will now have to use the environment a lot more, because he doesn't have his stuff. Speaking of environments and levels, that's something that really rubs most Hitman fans the wrong way in this game. This game completely changes from the last 4 Hitman games. Instead of being dropped into a large area and having to figure out what to do and how to kill a target, this game really changes it, and I mean really changes it. This game makes it more like modern games. Levels are split up into areas. So instead of a large area, it might be a bunch of smaller areas. Once you finish a section of a level, you're done with that part and you're on to the next section. There are many sections in the game, hell, even many sections in the levels. And there are many sections where you don't actually kill anyone. For instance, there's a mission where 47 is on the run, and that's the mission, but you don't have any targets at all. You don't need to kill a single person. And there's a couple sections, but you won't end up killing anyone. There's also a point system. You get points for killing the target and completing challenges.
Come on, Limp Dick. Limp Dick Lenny.
Shut up, Wade!
Limp Dick Lenny. Limp Dick Lenny. Limp Dick Lenny.
You actually get really penalized for killing other people besides the target. Killing everyone in sight like the old Hitman games is really not an option here at all. There is this Splinter Cell conviction aim of shoot shit or something like that where you're able to kill hella people with instinct, but you're supposed to be stealthy in this game. Also in levels is health packs for the first time. 47 can actually heal if he loses health, but really you're going to be using your environment to the fullest and not killing like anyone at all. While a lot of sections don't have targets to kill, the ones that do actually have a ton of ways to kill the targets. Something really nice in this game actually is the game tells you all the options of killing someone. And these targets can have up to like 5 or 6 ways of being eliminated besides being shot or killed by fiber wire. I will say that some of the levels in this game are the best in the whole Hitman series, but I will also say that some of the levels in this game are the worst levels in the whole Hitman series. I wouldn't say any of them are like Hitman 1 bad, but they can come pretty close. For every amazing level that you're killing the nuns in the cornfield, there's a shitty level like 47 going through a hotel. The amount of challenges present in this game are pretty good. I mean, it's pretty nice, like these challenges, like going through with only a suit or eliminating everyone in the building. But a couple of these levels, like the courthouse level, they're just shit. It's like 66 and 44 on good versus bad levels in this game. So while a majority of them are good, there are some real stinker levels, and the courthouse is easily just the worst level in this game. Personally, the levels where there are no targets are the levels that I skip when I replay this game, because these levels where there's no targets are just not any fun like at all. Some levels though are really great, but not all of them are bad. A lot of people hated the way the level design is, but I think it's okay. I don't think it's bad, but I don't particularly think it fits the Hitman style of gameplay. It fits the story perfectly though. Once you're done with that, to the might I add long single player campaign, there is this replayable mode called Contracts, including a replayable story mode, where players create missions for other players and they complete it. It's pretty limited, but some cool missions have been made. One thing that's also really cool is the presentation in this game though. This game looks freaking great. The presentation is excellent in this game with fantastic character models, beautiful levels for the most part, and a solid frame rate. The game, even when it came out, it ran pretty well on my laptop, and it was kind of shit. Really, this game, especially the cutscenes, just look excellent. The sound in this game is equally as good, with crisp, amazing voice work in this game from everyone, I can say that. The music was not by the same guy as the previous 4 games, and it kind of shows. It's really a different tone of music. And while it's not bad, it's not on the same level as the last couple games, which were just pretty excellent. Really though, the production values were through the roof for this game, and it shows. They're pretty excellent. Now, while Hitman Absolution may get a lot of flack from Hitman fans because of its strange, kind of dumb detection system and weird level design, I think it's still pretty good, and you can't really deny the fact that it's still pretty good. Yeah, it's not like the old Hitman games, but I still think it's a pretty great game. It was actually the first Hitman game I ever played, so maybe there's some bias in here. But I still think it's a pretty good game. I would say, though, it's not on the level of Contracts or Blood Money, but this game is still pretty damn good. Well, the next Hitman game would actually be some mobile game called Hitman Go, and I think it was just released for like consoles and PC, but I'm not going to be reviewing it. The last Hitman game that has been released is just titled Hitman, which is weird. Not even the first Hitman movie or game was just called Hitman. I guess it's like a reboot or something. This game is episodic of all things, and it's really kind of weird. And at the time of this review, the game is not even complete, so I can't really like judge it. I mean, I played a little of it, like 2 or 3 hours of it, and the game is a lot like Blood Money with large open areas and the target ready to be assassinated. It sort of is instinct mode, but it's really the best of Blood Money and Absolution together. There's these elusive targets and challenge things from Absolution. I can say that once it's complete, it has a really good potential to be maybe the best Hitman game of them all. Overall, Hitman is one of the most beloved stealth franchises, and really when it comes to game series that don't have a bad game in them, Hitman is one of them, besides the original. But even that has been remade in Contracts, so you can really skip the original Hitman. Overall though, I think Hitman is a fantastic stealth series, and I'm so glad I finally played these games. It took me a long time to get to them. Almost 4 years actually. There's also the 2 trash movies, but really Hitman is a great stealth series, and I have to say it's a bit underrated. people mostly cite Splinter Cell and Metal Gear, but nobody really talks about Hitman. And I think it's a pretty awesome series. If you're looking for a good stealth series and haven't tried this, I don't know what you're doing. These games are all cheap as hell now. Great series. Great.